Hey, this is Jasmine. Have you ever wanted to know what is the latest and greatest of businesses, entrepreneurs, musicians, and artists around the world? Have you ever wondered, why did they make that choice, where they're going, and how can I support them? Well, you come to the right place. If you haven't heard already, I have some amazing guests all the way from Africa and as close as Texas, where I live. Check out Noise Zion podcast on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, and 30 plus other platforms. Today's guest is Maria Vaughn. She is the owner of Vaughn Dance, located here in Greenville, Texas. She is wanting to discuss on expanding the horizons of her company and open up possibilities that may not be here. Topics of discussion: her current event here in Uptown Forum, Greenville, Texas, the rising up in her career as a dancer, styles of dance, and a shout out to all her sponsors and support. Please give a warm welcome to ever blessed Maria Vaughn. So how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good today. Yes, I am. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. So you're like literally down the street right now, probably.
I'm not sure. Where are you located?
Greenville.
Yeah, well, always down the street in Greenville then.
Yeah. So you've lived out in Greenville for a while. I think I've been here for about 6.5 years so far.
Okay. I've been here for 3 years, so not that long, but long enough. I've done some work out here, and it's been good. And I was going to say earlier that I share with you kind of about being that one-woman band, who wears many hats and does it all kind of thing. And that's how it is for me right now, too. So I understand that is... it's tough, but it's pleasurable because you can like pace yourself at your own pace kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't have to have anybody yelling over your shoulder, like micromanaging. But I think in our minds, we also do that to ourselves anyways. It shouldn't take this long. Why is it taking so long? Oh my God. Completely understandable. I actually was looking up your website. I've looked at it before, but I looked at it again, and it's like you have such an amazing background, especially with like the types of categories of dance choreography and classes that you have. You said you have like 3 sectors.
Right. Yeah. So 3 kind of divisions of the company, and that's kind of what I'm building it up to be. We don't really do too much burlesque currently. That's more like if I go and perform with somebody, but it hasn't been very recent with that. So that's kind of on the back burner right now. But at some point, after we've done more of our classical work and we have a good reputation for that, then I think we will do, some burlesque kind of work as well, in the places where it's welcome.
Of course.
Yeah. And then we have kids involved too, a little bit, just in the performances. So we're going to work with Studio A and have some of their kids in our Christmas performance.
Cool.
And so that kind of has its own name, Vingavangi, because we started that's a name that my daughter and I gave it together. So I started that with my daughter, and she started dance when she was 2.
Oh, wow.
So, but now she likes to do her own thing. She likes to do sports too, as well as dance. It's nice. So
that helps out a lot when you're dealing with sports, because you're dealing with reflexology, I guess you could call it. Keeps them limber, keeps them less injured when they have dance involved, because that's kind of like the warm up and cool downs, correct? When you do, before you prepare or perform for types of dances, you have to warm up those muscles. So she probably has the same concept when you're dealing with sports, because there's a lot of injury involved with sports. Doesn't matter what type of, it could be from soccer to baseball, football, basketball, and tennis, etc. So she's got some good qualities she's getting from her mom. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said the sectors were the Vaughn dance classic, and the Vinga Vangi, and that's for the children on a professional level. Cool. And then you have the Vaughn dance burlesque. So I was like thinking like, what would I do if I ever started dancing again? And I was like, to me, that sounds like even more fun to do because you're not in one spot on the floor versus being on a pole. I know this is a different category, but just the thought of the arm movements and the leg movements and I was watching some of the videos. It's like, it's so graceful, but yet it's very seductive at the same time, almost like a dominating, like the female, here I am, watch out, I'm pretty hot if you try to touch, kind of a thing like that, that spicy, tangy, mysterious type of dance performance. And it's like, I love dance. And I mean, I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned it in my other podcasts, but I used to do a lot of Latin dances. I've did Afro-Caribbean dancing. I've also had ballet back in the day when I was maybe 4 years old, but that was a long time ago.
It still counts though. It's still probably in there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, it's almost 40 years ago. So yeah.
But still, it's probably still in there.
Yeah, it is because I did cumbia, cha-cha, merengue, salsa, and a lot of the Afro-Caribbean dancing. I love that. And that was kind of like just getting in touch with culture and the vibe and the feeling it's almost like it's the language of dance because everybody can understand dancing. It's very universal language.
It is.
So you're, without even opening your mouth, you're telling a story based on your movements and performance. So I think that's amazing. I love it. I just like, when I was like, oh my gosh, she's coming on as a guest. I just love to know more about you. You moved from New Orleans?
I did live there. Technically, I lived in Kenner, which is like outside of New Orleans, but it still counts.
Yeah.
It was down there and I worked in New Orleans and stuff as well. So yeah, that was always an interesting experience and something that I have respect from. It was a good place for me in the time that I spent there.
Yeah, that is awesome. Awesome.
And I did, we were talking about burlesque, and that's a very adult thing, but it's very fun. It is, because you tap into your inner sensuality and your deep inner, fetishes, I guess, too, and all the things that like you keep hidden, but you can express it through dance, and you don't have to speak about it.
Exactly.
And it goes pretty deep burlesque sometimes, and I enjoy teaching it a little bit. That is fun. Yeah.
So like it is it's the unspoken language of love and seduction when it comes to performing different, specifically like the burlesque. But I could compare it to the paseo doble. The paseo doble is like, the Latin dance. But even though you see the man have that stature and that masculinity, he's actually following the woman. The woman, it's very, you think the man is actually leading. It's the woman. She's the woman who's leading the dance. And he's kind of like following suit because he's trying to conform around her body and her movements to accentuate her performance and in the story behind it. So it's like, it's beautiful that when someone can perform it. I miss ballet. I mean, just the whole point of this whole pandemic thing, the list of things that I wanted to go and enjoy some of the ballets in the theater and all of that. But I'm like, now I definitely got to put that back on my list because I'm like, okay, or maybe we're going to go on shutdown again, but I don't know. speaking of performances, you have something coming up, and I wanted to make sure that everybody gets to know about that. It's the Whimsically Eloquent Remix.
Remixed.
Yes. So that's going on Saturday, August 28th. And I do have your website for the link for tickets too, because I want to put that in the show notes. I think this is awesome because you're going to be performing at the Uptown Forum in Greenville, Texas.
Yes.
And the thought of having something so vibrant in this small town is just, I'm excited just even talking about it. But tell me more about about you and what's your position and the reason why you chose this journey.
Yeah, I have a lot to share. So, let me start with Whimsically Eloquent Remixed, which we are talking about right now, and then I'll get into those other things. Whimsically Eloquent Remixed is like a repeat performance of Whimsically Eloquent. Sort of. We started, we're resetting the piece, and we've got 4 dancers instead of 2. So we're adding 2 more dancers in. Okay. So what I'm kind of thinking about with those dancers is kind of bringing a little bit more of a funkier side of Uptown Forum into it, and trying to play with the stairs just a little bit more. Because I really love those stairs in Uptown Forum. It honestly, they remind me of the moving stairs in Harry Potter, if you're familiar with that. And every time I look at them, I just think of like the moving stairs and how they would move. I want to bring out new things with these new 2 dancers. And so some of the pieces may look similar, but we'll have new movement added to it. So it'll look totally new, like redone, and then they're completely different. We have 2 solos instead of 2 of the other pieces. It should be a lot of fun. We also are supposed to have 2 cellists this time. Okay. So it's basically like we're doubling everything that we had the first time. And Town Forum, it's very interesting. I know one of the pieces that we're going to work on, it's going to be fun to figure out the spacing.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
I walked in there, but I did not get to see the stage, so I'm not sure how big it is. But you're trying to feel the space because there's going to be a lot of people there, and you want to make sure everybody sees it on all angles if they're sitting on what part of the state of the
So seating. What we're doing with that is we're dancing in, when you walk in, there's going to be seating right there, and we're dancing in the center part, and we're dancing on the stairs as well. Cool. And so there's going to be seating right when you walk in and on the floor, and then there's going to be seating in front of the elevator between Pizzo's and the Wind and the Willow on the floor. And then there's going to be seating above Pizzo's. There's going to be like 3 seats there available, and then there's going to be seats available above the Wind and the Willow. And so the above seats are probably going to be your best vantage point of view. I think that the floor seats will equally be as good, because when I direct, I watch from the floor. So it should work pretty good. We're also doing it virtually. So we're going to have some cameras set up, like for people who don't live in Greenville, they can watch it virtually as well.
Cool. And very cool.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, really putting it all together. But we've got a lot of good people working on it. Brett Lamarck and Gabe Mendina, they're working on the virtual part of it.
The journey through dance. What made you choose that journey, and how did you get started, and why did you choose?
I've done quite a lot of dance because at a certain point growing up, I started dance when I was 7 actually, and then but I was always really dancing. I remember always dancing to music that my parents would play, or dancing outside on the, in the garage or in the driveway kind of thing. I would dance. I would play with the jump rope and dance with it. So I was always dancing. But then when I was 7, I got to take ballet for the first time, and it was wonderful. And but at a certain point, things kind of, as you evolve, you kind of build groups and things get a bit catty sometimes, especially in the arts. And so at a certain point when I was 15, I decided that I wanted to do it my way. And so I wanted to have my own dance company. And so that was the goal.
Mm-hmm.
But I would take the steps that I needed to in order to get there. And so when I graduated from high school, I went to college. I went to the University of Southern Miss, and I got my degree, my BFA in dance performance and choreography. And
Cool.
that was a process, and I eagerly pushed towards, doing my own company. I have a business management minor. So I took like an entrepreneurship course, and that was, eye-opening. I took business management, and so I do have a background in business as well. And, so that has helped. And then when I got out into the world, that's kind of when I really dug into burlesque as well as other, aerial dance kind of things, pole work as well. Then I moved to New Orleans, basically to Kenner, Louisiana, and worked there. And then I wanted to move to the beach. Who doesn't?
Right, exactly. Water is so soothing, I tell you.
So I did. It was just, the Mississippi coast. So not necessarily the best beach, but definitely for those beach bums out there, any beach is beach, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and I did a lot of burlesque work there. But I also did a lot of solo work under the classic name of Vaughn Dance. And you can see that on our website. And so eventually I moved to Greenville. We needed a change from things, and it was a good change for the positive. And since I've been in Greenville, we've dancing with other dancers. We've done, 3 full-length concerts.
Wow.
Yes, 3. The first one was Storage Unit Stories that ended up being at the Texan Theater.
Okay. Right across the street almost. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we did Wednesday We Eloquent, and both of those were in 2019. And then 2020, we didn't do any performances, but May of 2021, this year, we did Awakenings 1 also at the Texan Theater. And you can see a nice, lengthy review of that performance on our website or also on our Facebook, I believe.
Cool. Very nice.
So if you missed it, it was a good one. So,
that is a long journey. I love going from such a positive journey. It's like the transitions that you've gone through. It's amazing. And just to see the different places in the southern states and all that, it's just it's awesome. It's beautiful, isn't it? See, I've traveled a lot. It's like a lot of traveling through all the states. I think I've gone through 32 states so far.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, driving, no plane ride, just driving. Right. Yeah, that's me. So yeah, I'm the driver. When it comes to something like that, I'm like, I want to enjoy the view, the beautiful landscape. When you go from one border to another, like when you hit Oklahoma and Texas border, the trees just like literally transitioned, like go from like evergreen to like palm trees. It's like, it's amazing.
So interesting to see like how the states differ, nature wise, particularly, because that's one of the beautiful things about the United States of America, to be honest, is like the different types of weather and the different types of natural plants and trees that you see, and like even the different variations within variations. For example, palm trees, they're tall in Florida and they're short in other places.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, okay, cool. I like that. It makes it fun, and you can drive not very far and not very long and see something different. That's pretty exciting, to be honest.
You can go from palm trees to tumbleweeds to cactus to like waterfall to like, it's like all in Texas. It's like amazing.
I know.
So amazing.
I know. And it's like, it kind of makes me wonder, is it really like, is there like, it kind of takes me to my conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
It's like, is this all an experiment? but I just try not to live in that part of my brain,
I know.
Appreciate it and enjoy it because that's what it is for me right now.
Exactly. It's just so beautiful, amazing. You just can't believe your eyes sometimes. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So exactly. Yeah. What is your best tip for making the world a better place?
Yes, if you have an idea that is in any way positive and it can make at least one person's life better or your own, then you should do that idea. Yeah. Because even if it fails, it was worth a try and you can make it better if it's worth doing, or you can come up with another idea.
Yeah. There's so many choices out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For example, if you see something like a homeless person and you think maybe I should feed them, I would work towards having bags of food in your car to where you can do that at the time. Yeah.
That's very true. I mean, I used to drive around because I've always had a dog. Sometimes I would have my dog come with me at night because I work the night shift, and having a pit bull next to you when you're driving in shady industrial places to pick up COVID specimens in the back of a building I think it's beneficial to have a dog with you at that time. So I always carried like big Ziploc bags of dog food. And then I drove down by Quick Trip real quick here in Greenville. And there was a gentleman who was on the side of the road and he had like 3 or 4 dogs. A couple of them were in the stroller. Some of them were like sitting next to the really, really busy street, the bridge. Q-tip, they call it Quick Trip. They'll call it whatever. But anyways, he was there, and I had a big bag of like dog food. And some people they just think like, oh, completely just try to ignore him. Just try to ignore him. He'll go away. That's not something you should ignore. The reason why people have passed him by is with that same type of mentality. You can't pass by someone that could be a brother, sister, uncle, aunt, father. And
sometimes what people will do is think that praying for them is good enough. Praying for them is good, yes. But if you can act on it too, yes, you think you should do that.
Yeah. Praying is, I completely agree. Praying or thinking.
Like, some people will just pray it away. I think you have to act on it too.
Yeah. Praying is for everything, but you got to add a little some with that. It's just, you're in that moment, you act on it in the kindness of your heart and pray about it while you're doing it and pray after, but the point is that you actually took initiative in helping somebody out outside of just, oh, I'll pray for you, honey. I'll pray when I get home and I'll, right. It's the now that they need it.
If you can, I mean, but there's situations where you can't, obviously. Yeah. For example, if you are driving in Dallas on the I-30, there's a specific spot or more than one spot where people are walking around with cups, and I don't see any way that I can possibly stop to help you. I can't even throw out a bag of food. It's going so fast, the traffic. I'm sorry. I'm definitely going to pray that away because I have to be safe.
Yeah, that's that too.
There are circumstances. There are, but I think, work towards what you can do.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It's dangerous for all of them. It's for myself as well as for them. I'm trying to take into consideration that, but there's times where I've stopped at a red light and all of a sudden it turned green and someone's with a sign on the side saying, can you help me? Or the sign says, God bless, or whichever, anything you give us is appreciated. And there's times I have to yell out like real quick, like, are you guys hungry? Like, yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to do a Yui. And, because I'm in the area anyway, so I'm going to drop off a specimen. So I'm like, we'll stop at this, Arby's or whatever the restaurant is at. And so, because I said, I want to be in a safe spot, both of us, if there's an opportunity like that, I'll do it. And so that's what I usually do. But there's times like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't want to throw change at you and be rude about it. But like, I got a green light and there's people behind me and everybody's in a rush hour. So do what you can do. And if you can't, prayer is probably the thing that you're able to do at the time. So if you could hold on to one memory from your life forever, what would that be?
Picking one is hard. but
Yeah, it is.
I will do it.
Okay.
I will do it. And I have a picture of it. Probably most definitely the day I gave birth to my daughter. Maybe not the pain in the labor, but the moment I held her.
Oh God, yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And then there's dance memories and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, it would be hard for me to answer that question for me personally because I have 3 boys. So I would have to wrap it all up in one.
I'm blessed. I only have one right now, so I can say that. You know, that's hard. If you have more than one kid,
yeah.
Sorry, put that on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write that down as a note, Okay.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. It is such a beautiful thing to actually be after you've spoken and talked to your child from the outside in and just talking to him or her and reading books or singing or just doing the things you love while they're still attached to you and then coming out into the world and just get to embrace them for the first time. The first arms that they get to enjoy are yours. Yeah. Such a beautiful thing. It is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So if I could wrap all that in one, just that point in time for all my children is to be available to embrace them. Some people are not able to do that. So that is a beautiful thing. Absolutely. So what does your future hold?
Dance-wise, it holds Whimsically Eloquent Remix, and then we're going to have a Christmas concert as well, the first weekend in December.
Okay.
And then next year, I'm sure we'll have some pretty good things happening as well. We will definitely have 2 or more performances. This year we had 3, so we'll probably do something similar.
Very nice.
Year. And we're working on some videography, some dance for film as well in the background. We're working, and I would like to at some point finish the compilation of dances or the that piece that work that I've been working on with the male dancer as well as the female dancer, where the female dancer has 3 different solos that have been done, and then the male will have 3 solos, and then there'll be 3 duets, so that all will be an evening length work.
Wow.
We'd like to work on that, but I think now it's going to be for film. I think it's going to be a dance for film evening length.
Very nice.
So at some point, I'd like to finish that. Now, personally, my future, I have a significant other, and we talk of, we definitely someday do want to get married. So he's working on his end of things. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I wish the best. Absolutely, for everything.
Thank you. And my daughter, she is 11. And she's turning 12 very soon. She's going to have her party at Splash Kingdom.
Oh, wow.
She's going to have a sleepover afterwards. So that should be fun. And then who knows what my future holds. I know for sure for a while my work is here in Texas. I also teach dance for other people, their studios, that kind of thing. And I teach yoga. And so futuristically, I definitely want to keep those things going, as well as the company. And right now, my people and my work is here in Texas. So my future currently looks like it'll be in Texas at some point in the far future. I definitely, want to be back at the beach, living at the beach. But, that might be when I'm, much older. Like I'm in my 30s now, and I'm 32. And I'm thinking, maybe when I'm like in my 70s or 80s, we can move.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Or, maybe younger, but at the same time, I'm thinking things are here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're thinking that far out. Some people are just like, oh, day to day. And it makes sense that people like to live day to day. But you also want to live peacefully in something that you enjoy doing until the moment you no longer can do it.
Right.
And that's a beautiful thing to just kind of reconsider, like, what do you want to do? And it doesn't even have to be at the point where you retire. Just something you love to do. Keep doing it till your feet can't move no more. That kind of a thing.
I would like to be like the Yoda of dance a little bit, just in my own way.
Yeah.
Like I'm at least warming up with my dancers when they warm up. I'm at least stretching with them when they stretch. Maybe I'm not performing, or maybe all I'm performing is like my infamous solo that somehow I create or whatever.
Mhm.
But I would like to at least be warming up with my dancers, and even if I have to use a cane like Yoda used, and then I can do like he did in that last one where he throws it and he does some awesome ninja stuff.
Right.
Well, maybe I can do that with dance if I can. I just want to keep going. So, but if I move to the beach, it will just be transferring work kind of thing. Transferring. Okay, so we're gonna relocate.
Well, that is awesome. That is so cool that you think that way. So who has been the kindest to you in your life? And it could probably be more than one person if you'd like to do a shout out for the kindest people so far in your life.
I can probably do a shout out, but I'm going to answer it honestly that there have been a lot of kind people, and there still are a lot of kind people in my life. The kindest of all, though, is definitely the higher power, God, right? He's given me all of these people.
Right.
And he's kind through these people. So, but I mean, I definitely have to say that some of the kind of people that I've known, Mema, who is Robin Adams' mother, she's passed away now, but they took us in when we really had nowhere to turn, not necessarily physically, but in a family kind of way. Robin Adams is still alive. She has her own dance studio in Mississippi on the coast. Wow. That's where they are. Yeah. And then, I mean, there's a list of other people. I'll try not to forget anybody. Brett Lamarck and my daughter, obviously, Penelope. And then for the company, who's been so good to us, like our board members, Tom Jeffries, Gail Sprinkle, Nicole Strickland. And then as far as with space for us to use and or dance in and perform, with Uptown Forum coming up, that's Gail Sprinkle, but Texan Theater and all their staff, Barbara Hornan, who owns that, and actually, and Ashley Davis, who owns Studio A, we've been able to use their space a lot.
That's amazing.
And here in Greenville. And then we've got some sponsors. Right now, we just have one, but we're always looking for sponsors because we do nonprofit work as well that I can tell you about real quick. But our sponsors are Knops AC LLC, and they're an AC company out of Farmersville. They've definitely been kind to us as a company.
That's awesome.
And there's a heck of a lot more people. I mean, my family, growing up, we definitely had some fun. There's definitely been high points there, low and high. That's going to be the answer to that question.
Oh, that's so awesome.
That's a tough question.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I'm like, why do they make it sound so easy? And it's like, there's so many people in our lives that we have touched and other people have touched in our lives. And I hate to feel like I've left somebody out, but it's like when you get caught in that question, like, oh, I just like stumble, like, oh my God, who am I supposed to say? But yeah, you've pretty much got everyone down the list on that. And that's amazing that you have such wonderful people who you've touched and vice versa in your life. If someone was wanting to get to know more about what and where your performance is going to be taking place, or know more about the types of performances or dance styles, where can the listeners contact you if they're wanting to know more about you?
Oh, right. Okay. We teach dances for the Children's Hospital of Dallas. We teach dances to them, ones that, accessible ones. And we teach dances to the elderly at Legacy at Willow Bend in Plano, Texas.
Okay, cool.
We also teach chair yoga to the senior citizens at Harrison House here in Greenville. We are working with Feed My Sheep of Hunt County. We take food sometimes out to Dallas, sometimes around Greenville in the DFW area. And then we're also going to be working with Abba's House dancing during their services, as well as possibly teaching some yoga. there. And that's what we do right now, nonprofit wise. So if anybody's interested, to answer your question, if anybody's interested in getting more information about Vaughn Dance or anything that we're doing, they can contact us at vaughndance@gmail.com to email, or you can, I prefer a text, but call is fine. Leave a voicemail. The telephone number is 786-857-7434. Good way to find out a lot of information is to go to our website, which is vaughndance.net. We also have a LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and TikTok. So we do dabble in the social media as well.
Cool.
So those will be interesting if you find them, but they're basically, we just keep you informed, let you know what we're doing. So
that's amazing. Yeah. And if anyone is interested in getting in before it's too late for the Whimsically Eloquent remix in Greenville, Texas, the tickets are on your Vaughn-dance.ticketleap.com on Saturday, August 28th, 2021, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time through 5:30 p.m.
We're definitely always looking for sponsors. We hope a lot of people will come out to our performances, as well as, maybe watch them virtually too. Those are some big things that we're looking for as a company. But, in closing, I just think be kind and be loving and be peaceful. That's what the T-shirt, our company mission, our company, little motto is, for a peaceful and creative spirit. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great closing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, dear. Appreciate it so much. You have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you for listening to Noise Palooza Zion podcast. I'm Jasmine Castillo, also known as DJ Jim Jam. If you are wanting to be promoted on my podcast, please reach out to me if you are a small business, entrepreneur, musician, or artist. www.jasminecastillovoice.com. Stay tuned for the next upcoming episode.